This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money. Your host, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, what's been going on?
Man, what's been going on? Lots been going on. We are kicking it into we're getting towards the middle of 2024. It's coming up. So things are happening. Spring is here, summer's coming, and we got some heat. First of all, we're going to do a little bit of an update on the rat beef because I know you want to talk about that, Thea. And I got some people came to me about this, so I'm going to talk about that just a little bit. Tom Brady, is, there's a Tom Brady roast. I guess he needs to get roasted just to keep his name out there. I don't know what he's been doing lately. Disney has been doing things, just making moves, being the big behemoth that they are. We got Disney Plus in the mix, Marvel's in the mix, Star Wars is in the mix, your wallet's in the mix, everybody's in the mix. Then we also have some news about AI and the Met Gala. And this even connects to TikTok. Interesting stuff happening in the world of AI. And it just keeps on slowly grabbing us and pulling us in, and I'm not sure we'll ever be able to get back out of this thing. But interesting stuff is happening. And yes, we always have to talk about Instagram, Facebook, Threads, the metaverse. A little bit on that if we get to it. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff going on this week. And speaking of weeks, how was yours?
Oh, man, marketing, man. Damn. It's for those that don't know, Good Times. Shout out to Good Times who were on the Breakfast Club this past week. So go check it out. But yeah, I just learning, man, just trying to figure this whole thing out, man. I have my book funnel out there trying to get some things moving. Just really learning, understanding like how to get the messaging right, to get your right audience. Then the marketing is such a kind of experimentation type of thing. Is always changing because I was told one time is targeting. You want to target initially and focus, but now if your pixel's too strong now, then you could probably just make it broad and then you'll attract your right audience over time. And so I did that. So for a long time, for the first couple of weeks in May, I was frustrated because man, this
Wait,
this
hold on,
this
hold on.
funnels.
That's a long time, a few weeks.
Yeah, for me.
Oh man.
I gotta
I
get
l-
this thing rolling, man.
I love the
Get this
time
thing
scale.
rolling.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm putting some money in this thing, man. This ain't some cheap money. This is some good money here. So I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see. So I had not to get into the weeds with this. I'll do a YouTube on this, but I had two type of ad sets set up that were a little bit different. One was targeting the doctors and was using some third party software to find them. And one was just broad open. So then I was like, what's going on? I'm not getting what I want. And so I looked at the numbers and the one that was targeting doctors was boo. It was just like not giving me what I wanted. It was
Woo, woo.
giving me like maybe 2 or 3 hits over the last month, 30 days. Then I looked at the broad targeting, man, AI and and Meta, they are on point. It's broad, basically just targeting anybody that's associated with healthcare, right? Let's
Yeah.
say you were an intern for 2 days at the local hospital, right? They're gonna target you. And that got the most hits. It got a lot of folks buying the book and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? Screw this other direct to doctor. That's my
Yeah.
market, direct to doctor target. Let me just make it broad. So I just doubled that ad set and basically now I'm reaching more folks and it started to hit again this weekend. So I'm getting people buying the book again like I was used to. So I would just say this is one of those things where marketing I'm learning is about the experimentation piece of it
Right.
and understanding how you can maneuver. And also, I did tweak a little bit on the headline. So I looked deeper into the ad set and I saw, hey, what headlines were targeting, were actually hitting, basically
Mhm.
getting people to buy the book. And I found like the right headline. So what I did, I just copied the same headlines and put it on my funnel landing page, and it started to hit. So I'm just like, wait a minute, is this all this is? It's just
So
tons
is
of
that
experimentation.
so is that what you were referring to when you said you were gonna at some point you said you were gonna investigate the creative that was getting created for all these steps in the funnel, and so this is part of that?
Absolutely. I was looking at I've been told I did all the other stuff. I've been looking at the creative. So the ads are working. They're hitting about like 2% roughly click
Okay.
through rate and all that, which is on average is pretty good. But our outbound click through rate, right? So they click on it and they typically look to our funnel, but they were just dying on the funnel on the landing page that they went to. I tweaked some things generically that got some hits, but what really moved the needle, which Alex Hormozy said this and other folks, is the headline. Just changing the headline, making it simpler or relating it back to what the ad was saying. And so that was like the things that started to get things moving again. But to your point, yes, just really to me, it was like, I'm such an engineer. I'm like, oh, this ain't working. I gotta go from scratch. I gotta go to ground zero.
Right, right.
But sometimes you got to put a new paint coat on the car. It's the same car. You just got to just
Yeah.
instead of green, paint it pink. And so I think that's what I'm learning is just like marketing is let's just start with the easier stuff first, which is in a lot of cases for landing pages, the headline. If they're not converting, change the headline a little bit better. Yeah. So those are some of the things I've been learning. And that's why I'm like marketing.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, it's funny that something like that hit me when I was watching Kitchen Nightmares, 'cause I told you I used to watch I still do sometimes. I used to watch Kitchen Nightmares because it reminded me of a bunch of game designers and everything is not going as you want, and somebody's gotta come in and just yell, and you're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I need to fix this. That was stupid. Why wasn't I looking at that?" There's this one episode where the guy, the chef, it's like a husband and wife team. He's like the chef and he's got everything in order. And he's like, all right, we're gonna put a window here so we can serve up plates faster. And the lady was like, no, we're not putting a window there. That's stupid. And everything was telling me, was telling Ramsey, was telling the chef. Everything said, no, you just put a window there. Otherwise, they're going to be bumping into each other. They're going to have to bring the food all the way around. It made so much sense to me. But she got really adamant on this one and was like, we're not exchanging a little bit of functionality for the amount of goodwill and love that we're going to get by leaving this closed and putting a sign and a little stand up there. Everybody was like losing their minds, right? Turns out she was actually right in this case because when people came in, it was just like a little area where they could stop, talk, and there was like a little stand there with some flowers and special of the day. It was a redundant sign because they had special of the day by the actual entrance. But
mm,
after they went in, there's just like this little area. And she was like, listen, that area, that little 2 by 4 foot, whatever standing area, you can't put a window there to serve food out of. It has to be for the people. And when people came in, it's just like magic. They just stood there. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm waiting on a friend. Da 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 da. And it was like inefficient because it actually slowed people up. People were bumping into each other as they came in, but it
mm.
worked out great for the restaurant. And I had to step back and say, okay, that's a more marketing, social, emotional mind working in a way that sees something that I wouldn't have seen. I'm thinking like seconds getting the food out and
Mhm.
bumping into people, efficiency, redundancy. Yes, it hit me back then. I started having to rethink that whole thing.
No, you hit the nail on the head. I talked to my marketing person and I said to her, I said, marketing is, you get bogged down in the tactical. Oh, yeah, we got to get nurture campaigns and we have to send emails out and all that. And you can get bogged down in the technical. Oh, wait, how you automate this and how you get that out efficient and all that stuff. But there's that third level. That's the psychology of what's the messaging and is it resonating with your audience correctly? And so you get look at the data and all that and do all this stuff. But if you're not resonating with them, and to your point, changing the headlines a little bit and stuff like that, then is not going to get them to move to do anything, no matter all the stuff you built.
Yeah.
And that's the frustrating part. So you have to always take a step back and say, okay, what is my audience really want here? And then figure that out over time. And then the better you get at that, then other stuff is fine. You can always build that stuff, right? But it's just that psychology is the hardest part. People don't realize because that's important. And all this other stuff is supposed to give you data to determine the psychology, but sometimes we just get bogged down in the data. I'm an engineer, so I'm used to just being bogged
Yeah.
down in just how to get this to work, how to get this to function, how to get this the most efficient. But it should be more around, is this effective, right? Are we getting the people to click on something, to do something that we want them to do? And then now it's just almost like a turnstile. Oh yeah, just turn it up now. We got it. We got it locked down. We got it locked down. Don't mess with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's been my learning experience this past week and just still learning, man. It never ends. And then and as I'm constantly like, I got all this stuff from the gurus and how they do stuff, but my market is such a niche, right? It's if I could just figure it out for a market, I can figure out for just about any market. But that's the hard part. That's the hard part. The domain expertise is the hard part to make this work. So that's the business stuff that I learned. And the other thing, last week I had a chance to go check out the Fall Guy in movies. I'm the movie guy here of the two of us. So I try to check out what the latest and greatest is. Man, did not open great, Mr. Benja. The
Oh,
Fall Guy, the start of the summer movie session. It only made $28 million. You know how much Guardian of the Galaxies 3 made last year around the same time in the first
No,
weekend?
how much was it?
118 million. 5 times as much in the opening weekend. And don't look good for this summer movies, man. I think the only thing people are really prepared or hype about is maybe definitely Deadpool and Wolverine. But yeah, man, it's just you don't have that anchor. And I think someone did a comparison. The last time we did not have a superhero movie anchor the summer session was like I think it was back in 2005 or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what the movie was, but it was like we've always had a big movie splash us in here in May. And so, yeah, Mr. Bitch, I think summer season this year is not going to be great. And that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah,
And also, the Fall Guy movie wasn't that good either. I hate to
boo
say
oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. It was
Well,
trying to do too much.
you gotta have a decent movie
Yeah, that
on top of your hot take, which you put out last week, which I'll just recap really quickly. If there's no compelling reason to watch your movie, for example, the MCU with their continuing stories, or a big social media movement such as Barbieheimer, then your movie will die. So
that's
that
what
still
happened.
seems to be holding true.
And they tried so hard because Ryan was in Barbie, Ryan Gosling was in Barbie, and
Mhm.
then, what's her name? Emily Blunt was in Oppenheimer, but they weren't the reasons people went to go see those movies, and they didn't have a big social media following. So, beyond that, and there's are you gonna watch a movie based on the 1970s TV show? I love the song. You remember the
Yeah.
song back in the day, The Fall Guy? Man, what the but anyway, so, I'm the no stunt man that make Eastwood look so fine. But yeah, I know. They
I
had some
love
fire, man. We need to do that, man. We need to do like good times. We should do like a whole episode just fire theme songs for TV shows that we grew up on
yes,
and cartoons. There's like at least what 20 to 100
but
of
the hot
those out
music,
there. Yeah, the hot music, man. Just the top 10 hot songs,
man,
intro songs. Gummy Bears. Oh, don't get me started on that one, boy. I
pole
taped that when
position
I was a
came to
little kid.
mind. You're in
But
pole
I
position?
digress. No, how that
Oh, it was wild. I'll have to link you up to it.
All right, man. That's been my week, man. What about yours?
Hey, week was going good, man. Hey, it's a long, convoluted thought process, and I have to break it down later. But when I mentioned watercolors last week,
Mhm.
like watercolors that changed my whole thing. So I've had this thing about water and the flow, and hey, man, if you're in your flow and you're doing the thing, you be water, my friend. There's whole psychology behind it. Probably end up writing a book about it. But I'm sitting down and I'm working, and I realized that I'm like, okay, let me break out these watercolors, start painting a little bit. And I'm like, how is this logically? This doesn't seem to be helping my situation. But after I finish the watercolor painting, I can just get back to work and do my stuff and keep that energy flowing. There's something about creating and something I realized about watercolors. Unlike most forms of media and painting, when you put down your watercolors, there's no going back. It's like you lay it down, it dries a certain way, and it's, hey, that's it, buddy. If you paint over this, you're going to see the previous layers of watercolor messing up your painting. It's not like oil or an acrylic, right, or gouache where you can come back and change it or paint over it. It's not, buddy, you're done. So it was forcing me to start into something, and I can't sit and think about it for 2 hours because, oh crap, it's gonna dry and do its thing and whatever. It's no, you put a dab of something on the paper, you got 15 minutes, buddy. And I was like, all right, let's go. So yeah, it was a total keep my energy flowing, but it's not something serious. I'm having fun with it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me see how these colors blend and mix together." And 15 minutes
Mhm.
later, I'm like, oh, that was cute. All right, back to work. So
Did you say you also like watercolor because it's tactile too? It feels like it's,
yeah, yeah.
more, yeah, physical as opposed to other form of art.
Exactly. If I'm doing something else, like I have a little tablet that I tape my watercolors onto it. I tape the paper down so I can draw on the paper without it sliding around or anything. But if I lift it up, it's water and it's going to drip a little. So it moves the paint just a little bit. And you forget about that. You're like, oh, I'm in the real world. I can't just, if I'm on a tablet or something, I can lay on my bed, just
Yeah.
draw like that. But I can't do that. It's the real world, buddy. Get with it. You got 15
I
minutes.
love
Go. Keep your ass moving." It just keeps me moving, but it changes my focus a little bit, so I don't have to think about, like, the work, the writing, or whatever, but I can keep my flow going.
yeah,
Beautiful
I love
stuff.
it. I
Beautiful
love it,
stuff.
man. It's good, good, good.
You ready to get into this?
I guess, man. Let's do it.
Alright, man. Oh, really quick, somebody brought information about the rap beef to me. I love when people say, "He must be into hip hop or smoking weed or whatever. Let me bring this to him." And I'm like, "We've never talked about this. Why are you co" Anyway, no, a friend of mine has been, like, following the rap beef religiously, and I don't really think they're that into rap, so I think it's, like, really new to them. So they're like, "Okay, right after he released it, I downloaded it and compared notes with what was released last time, and then I got on X and found out what people were saying. So this means," and I'm like, "Alright, so what do you think?" "I think Kendrick's gonna respond with another one before," and I'm like, "Wow, this is fascinating." They're they're hitting me with this, and it got me thinking, is there a marketing angle that they're trying to leverage with this that Kendrick or Drake are doing? I haven't even invested this much into this current beef,
Mhm.
but are they
I'm
leveraging it?
My wife and I, we discussed this exact same thing. It's just, I think they even said one of this records, they're playing on a record. I think it was the most streamed album or, yeah, record that just came out in the last months. And so they're definitely making money off of these. Let's not get it twisted. And so there's the marketing angle. It's what was it? ADA, right? Tension,
Yeah,
interest, desire, action. So people who never probably knew anything about rap, but the intrigue is there. What's
yeah,
this? The K Dot and Drizzy are in a rap battle. I don't know who they are, but I'm gonna find out. And so now you're investigating, you're drawing that interest out, right? Just to see
yeah,
who these guys are, what they're about. Heck, I'm not totally into rap like that, at least a newer rap. And so I had to go do some digging and I got into it like we talked about last week. I was like, oh,
yeah.
this is interesting. This is juicy. And the thing was it, yeah, juicy. This is juicy. Shout out to a long ago podcast. Go look it up, guys. Yeah, so I thought it was fascinating, and especially was it last week when I think after we or that weekend that we recorded the podcast, they dropped 3 diss albums. Kendrick, then Drake, and then Kendrick did again. It was just like
Mhm.
crazy, man. They went like but yeah, I don't know, man. These internet sleuths are getting out there. I think that's what it is too. There's this whole internet sleuth culture that's just like dominating the discourse. I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
blame true crime documentaries.
Good.
'Cause did you hear about this show on Netflix called Reindeer Games? Or Reindeer what's it called? Man, I can't remember what it's called. It's on Netflix now. It's been dominating the, charts for it. Just like what they always do. They made something that never should have been big,
Mhm.
become super big. Baby Reindeer. Did you hear about that TV show?
No.
Yeah, it blew up on
Huh.
Netflix. It was just like a random comedian slice of life. He's going into the trauma and his history. And in the course of the TV show, not to spoil anything, but he has a stalker in the TV show, and how he dealt with that is very controversial. Guess what? Internet sleuths, the comedian, he said, "Look, it's based on somebody, but whatever. You guys will never find it." They
Yeah.
found this person,
You
and this
know?
person got interviewed by Piers Morgan. So it's just, oh my god! So are we just gonna like
Yeah.
anything that's a scent of intrigue? Are the internet sleuths just gonna deep
Yeah.
dive and figure this out? This is crazy.
Master P was talking about this. He's like, "You gotta watch your not your, like, immediate team so much, but, like, the
Mhm.
people who are right outside the inner circle because they wanna get shine, and so they'll post up online." And I saw this happening on X, to your point, where people were like, "Nah, man, my boy got the security cam footage, and this is what happened in the hotel." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
It's these are people connected to the situation by yeah, I had to drive Drake's entourage to the event, so I'm connected. I know where they were. When I found stuff happened, I went back and talked to the security cam footage guy. I'm like, "Man, the ease at which information and your business can get out there is just it's really insane." And people wonder why celebrities get paid a lot. I learned about this a long time ago. No, they get paid to be out there as your punching bag. That's part of the game. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Look at TMZ. I mean, it's notoriously known that they pay. pictures from the LAPD. There's an open door policy, right? So anytime someone's passed away, TMZ already has that information. There was that controversial pictures that were taken at the crash site of Kobe and his daughter, right, in the helicopter that
Yeah.
the sheriff's department had gotten. So it's yeah, these people are, out there and they're willing to sell information for some of these outlets for celebrities that grab their attention. And so yeah, man, I think going back to the rap battle though, it's just that's what's drawing a lot of people in, the interest. And I guarantee Drake or BBL Drizzy. You still haven't listened to that song, have you? Have you listened to that song yet?
I started into it and stopped.
No. Classic. I will stand by that. That thing that's a bop, man. I don't care
That's
what you
funny.
say. But BBL Drizzy and K. Dot Kendrick Lamar, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna make their money. They're gonna do well.
Yeah.
But it is getting a little spicy now. You heard about the latest that there was a shooting at one of Drake residences and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. It's just it's all in fun until someone gets hurt. So
Yeah.
we'll see what they're gonna do. But Drake is definitely his legacy is definitely not the same anymore. He claimed himself as the one of the best rappers around, all that stuff. He probably gonna be considered. I think Kendrick's got him. You listen to all of them now, right? You up to speed on their lyrics? Oh, you didn't listen to them?
No, no, I told you I wasn't like invested in
Okay.
this one.
He's I'm not staying away from this drama. You gotta listen. You gotta listen to Meet the Grams, man. When you listen to that, it's a rap.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
a wrap. There's nothing else that just he basically Kendrick Lamar. The premise is he wrote a letter to each member of Drake's family and went in on why Drake is a horrible person in so many words. And it's
yeah.
just like nasty.
Quick little link up for you to check out later. I don't know if you've seen Scandalous, the untold story of the National Enquirer.
No, I need to
That
check that out.
it's on Amazon Prime Video, and it's actually
Oh
good.
no, is
It
that like blacks and UFOs? The one you told me about?
no, no, that is it is nowhere on the quality level of Blacks and UFOs.
Searching. I'll
No,
take you.
Scandalous, The Untold Story of the National Enquirer. It lets you the depths they go to, the energy they put behind a lot of this stuff, the actual journalism they do, and the BS journalism they do in comparison to, like, other studios and stuff. It's just fascinating. And hearing that stuff come out now, a lot of that information, because it's a 2019 film,
Mhm.
hearing it come out relatively recently, it makes you wonder what the TMZ story and the internet story is gonna be in a couple years from now. So, interesting stuff.
I love it, Mr. Benja.
Not as interesting as, Tom Brady, I hear, though. What's going on with that? You had a quick one on Tom Brady?
Yeah, I know. The Tom Brady roast on Netflix, Mr. Benja. I know you probably didn't see it. That's just you stay off in that negativity. But be honest with you, I'm there for it,
Oh,
man.
whoa.
I am so there
Roast
for it.
roast are not negative, but carry on.
Oh, this one got
Oh,
nasty. Look, I can't remember when the last good roast was. I think they did one with didn't they do one with Donald Trump one year? I think that was in like 26. It's been a minute since we had a big high profile roast like this. I would say at least 10 years, right? So for whatever reason, Tom Brady said, I'm gonna do this and make this huge number one, it was live, so that was hard. It's gonna be 3 hours. So I think just a curiosity factor this is a big comedy festival going on in LA, right down where you are.
mhm.
And so they Netflix is obviously Tessa Randis is a big comedy fan. So they had all these live specials. They had the Cat Williams special, which was not good, but we'll talk about that later. So Club Shade got his attention, got people's attention, but the interest and desire, I don't think Cat did that on this one. But then they had some live things from John. He's doing some interesting things. But then this live roast, and so I think the attention for me was just like, okay, I'll check it out. Tom Brady, he won my city, Tampa Bay, Super Bowl. Other people hate him, but kudos to him. So I checked it out, and so I said, I'm gonna check this out and see what happens. Man, I stayed up and watched the whole damn thing, man. It was so intriguing. And so it was hosted by Kevin Hart. So number one, I just came in there and said, okay, this is gonna roast Tom Brady. We're gonna talk about some sports jokes and nothing too hard hitting. Man, Kevin Hart set that thing off. Number one, Kevin Hart was just cussing, dropping F bombs. He doesn't do that as often anymore. And he was going nasty. He was going after the divorce. He was saying Tom Brady. He said, "Look, you should have known something." He said, "You she was taking 8 classes a day and was still a white belt with her Brazilian jiu-jitsu teacher, who she ended up cheating on Tom Brady with. Said, "You should have known better,
Build
Tom."
it up.
And I was like, "Oh, they're going there." So anyway, so that's when it got me, and then I started watching all the different things. Some were better than others. But it was just funny. They had the roster of comedians and sports folks, and they have other folks. I'm not gonna go through the whole list, but they had names on comedians like Nikki Glazier, Sam J, Jeff Ross, the roast master, right? I guess that's his thing.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz and Will Ferrell, who came out as Ron Burgundy. If you look at that list, people said Nikki Glazier, she has some of the best hits of that list, Mr. Benjamin. Do you know who Tony Hinchcliffe? That's another comedian. Did you
Yeah.
know some of these guys, and did you like them, or what are your thoughts on the comedian side you
I
just
put him
listed?
in the I put him in the Joe Rogan fanboy camp where it's like he's not that good, but he's known because of the podcast scene. Jeff
Mhm.
Ross is classic, has been around. Andrew Schultz definitely has his audience, mixes it up with Charlemagne. He still stays out there. Will Ferrell obviously has transcended that whole scene, but still stays in it, which is cool. And yeah, Sam J and Nikki Glasser, cool, but I'm not too. They're just like they're around, and yeah, these guys are all pretty good, so it's a good selection.
Okay. You know what? I'm looking at this order I put in. I just put it in randomly. It's almost in the order of who did the best, I think. Yeah, Tony, I didn't know who he was from Adam because he was sitting in the audience. He wasn't on what they call the dais. Man, he came in hard. He came in so hard, Mr. Benja. It was like he was using the F word. He was calling people gay. And that to me was like, oh, is cancel culture done?
So,
Because
well,
he just went hard.
so he's part of this. He's got a comedy thing called Kill Tony, which is basically you get up there and you try to kill him with jokes or talk bad about him. "You can't hurt my feelings. Don't come in here and try to get your feelings hurt." And it's a springboard for new comedians. So they'll take
Mhm.
new comedians and have them start telling jokes and have the toughest people in the world that just like bombing on you hard.
Oof, yeah.
'Cause there's this large black guy, I forgot his name, but a comedian came up and started trying to tell jokes, and he jumped up like he was mad. "Oh, think that's funny? That's funny?" And the comedian was like and when the comedian broke down, it was like everybody just railed in. See, big black man comes in, he's slightly concerned. "Now this is what happens. You're racist. Get off our stage." And it's just the kind of stuff that Tony does. So he's got
Yeah,
that lane. Yeah,
gotcha.
he's definitely a
Okay. I
yeah.
didn't know him Adam, like I said, but he came in hard, and I knew Sam J. I saw some of her stuff. I saw her comedy special. That was actually the first one. That was really good. I tried to watch her show. It was okay, but and then she was part of this other TV show I used to watch. But
Oh, Jay, that's right. For some reason, I was thinking of
yeah,
somebody else, but yeah, go ahead.
she was in Sat. She wrote for Saturday Night Live for many years. She was the one that came up with Black Jeopardy. That's the rumor. So it was her. So she's funny. Yeah, she has her moments, but she was just okay. Jeff Ross, I would put him below Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz came in hard, and it was like you could tell the ones who wanted to make it like Tony, Nikki, Sam, and Andrew, which weren't well known. I'm assuming they probably came in like hard. They like, look, this is I'm going to be on live TV on Netflix and it's a stadium of people, and I'm in front of all these folks, rich folks and all
Yeah,
this. I think they knew the assignment. They knew this is my moment to come up. And I think Nikki definitely made her profile a lot better because even though Kevin Hart said her joke was she had the funniest set. So now she's got special. She probably already had it, but now they're promoting it. It's so funny how this comedian stuff works, man. You know, they do stuff all the time. We know they're always doing jokes, they're always
yeah,
traveling. But then, like, when they get some heat, all of a sudden they got, like, a special coming out. You're like, "Ooh, what?"
yeah.
It's whatever. And then it's not good, then did you see the Chris Rock special after the slap?
No,
It wasn't good. It's because the problem is we wanna hear about the slap. We wanna hear 60 minutes of the slap. They don't have material for 60 minutes for the slap. They have probably maybe 5 or 10 that they workshop. The rest of the stuff they've been doing for the last 2 years, and so it's
yeah,
never good. And same thing with Cat, maybe talked about Shay for 2 minutes of this, 60-minute special.
mhm,
So it wasn't good. It's like, we came here to see you talk about a thing, but you're not talking about the thing because you already know what works, so you're gonna just do what works.
yeah,
So
yeah.
So I don't know if this is working well. So we'll see how Nikki does on her special. So anyway, and then just moving along, sports, you had Tom Brady. He was okay. He just the rebuttal piece, right? So he went hard. Peyton Manning, he's pretty good. He kept it clean. That's just Peyton Manning, just
Yeah.
Captain America. Gronk, man, that dude, that dude was just Kevin Hart said, he said, "What is it with white guys and just telling jokes about penises?" It's just and he was so right. It's like, that's all he did. It's just, "What are you doing?" And so when I play little sports, being in the locker room, man, that's just
Yeah.
this is what they do, man. It's just like, why? So anyway, what did and then him and so if you don't know, Gronk played with Tom Brady. Randy Moss, he
Wait, why
was
is Randy
terrible.
Moss on the list?
He played with Tom Brady for a couple years in the with the
Uh,
Patriots.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so for a couple years, but they he was the worst. He I don't know, he didn't have a good joke writer, and then he dressed like a old preacher daddy, so everybody ragged him on that, so he was not good. And it was like, "I thought you were gonna be funny, man," but he's just country. Julian Edelman, he was a teammate of Tom Brady, and then Drew Bledsoe, if you didn't know, he was the one that played for the Patriots, got hurt, and
Mhm.
Tom Brady took his starting position, and Drew Bledsoe never recovered. He started again with Buffalo, but he never matched
Right,
Tom
right.
Brady's career. And so he was funny. I was surprised how funny he was. But the guest of the night was Coach Belichick, who couldn't find a job after he got fired from the Patriots last year. He was actually surprisingly funny. So it's funny. These guys who were like so stoic when you watch football, oh, we didn't want to play, we didn't do this. He's coming out with jokes and having fun. I was like, it's all a game, man. It's all a game.
Yep.
And then last but not least, you had other people like Ben Affleck. He wasn't good. He was just kissing Tom Brady's butt. Kim Kardashian, man, they booed her. That rumor, I saw it live and I saw the boos. But Netflix, we talked about this, Mr. Benjamin.
Okay.
Netflix goes back and edits these live things.
Yeah, they do.
And we talked about that too. They even go back to even stuff they put out there and that people had issues with and they edit it later. So I think we had a discussion about this, how streaming services are they going back and changing
Yeah.
things that are not acceptable
Tweaking,
anymore.
lengthening, shortening, removing, adding, all the
Yep.
above.
So it's almost like revisionist history where
Yeah.
they're just like changing how we perceive things, which I don't like because we don't own the libraries to this. But anyway, Kim Kardashian got booed and she was okay. I don't even know why she was up there, to be honest with you.
She knows some sports people from the past.
But I think she was, yeah, that she knows him intimately. We've
Mhm.
heard. I can't drag her. She's trying to be a lawyer now,
No,
trying
no,
to
it's not a
guess
drag.
two
Just saying
different
that's where she was.
facts. Just facts. But didn't they do a roast of her? I think they did a roast of her a couple years ago. Robert Kraft, he was a billionaire owner. So the funny is, you probably saw this. Did you see this where Tom Brady told Jeff Ross, cut that, excuse my language here, but cut that shit out. Did you hear him? You hear that room? Did you hear that?
No.
That permeate? Yeah, so that was the only thing that Tom Brady had issues with. Jeff Ross went into, if you didn't know, Robert Kraft had issues with a massage parlor where he was caught in a compromising position. And so basically, that was the joke that Jeff Ross came with. He said, "Hey, this is being in a massage parlor, getting rubbed down or something like that." And then when Tom Brady did not like that, he stood up and said to Jeff Ross in his whisper in his ear, he said, "Hey, don't say that shit again." So that went viral because of that one joke. Yeah, I know. It's come on,
Well,
man.
when
Just let
when
it
when you
go.
do that, that draws more attention to it.
Exactly. You gotta let everything go. But dude, I'm telling you, Tom Brady, they ragged on his hair, the fact that he may be gay, the fact that his wife cheated on him, the fact that he lied about the footballs. But that was the one thing you didn't want people to talk
Yeah.
about. Oh, come on, man. Tom, get out of here. And then Dana White, I don't know why he was up there. I don't know, Mr. Finch. I guess he's just trying to be up there, but they ragged on him too. So anyway, so I thought it was interesting, fascinating, a sense that, and I think a lot of millennials and the Gen Zers who saw this is, ooh, this is, they probably were shocked a little bit how raw this got. And I was like, hey, this is what you and I remember. So it was fine. But I was like looking at the eyes of how comedy can be sanitized now. This is definitely a different style that I don't, and no one's careers is going to get hurt from this. And so we'll see if comedians are going to be a little bit more bolder in what they say on stage and not be
Yeah.
worried about the anti whatever
Yeah,
police. So,
that's a whole discussion. We'll get to that one day.
all right, that's all I got.
Alright, but that's all you got? Disney's got a lot going on, a lot. So the big behemoth known as the Disney Corporation. Really quick, high level. So Disney has basically created cable TV in one area where they've got Hulu, they've got Disney Plus, National Geographic, Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar as part of their whole Disney Plus Hulu thing now. And now they're bringing in Discovery and Max to their fold. So now it's okay if you're a streaming network, uh, aside from Netflix, what are you even doing now going up against Disney Plus and this big behemoth? And we'll start there. I won't even mention the other ones till we get there. But did you expect this move? Because I wasn't watching out, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, sounds about right. I think they basically created cable. That's what I put to
Yeah,
you. It's just there's rumors that they're eventually gonna get to this point. That look, Netflix is winning. Netflix, we talked about Netflix won the streaming wars. They can make anything a hit. I just talked
yeah,
about that Baby Reindeer show. That's a hit now. They can take it and then anything that the streamer anyone else sells to Netflix, they can make a hit. Look at the Resident TV show or Suits, right? So it's that's the Death Star for all the other entertainment players. And they're like, look, we got to form our own rebel alliance. We got to get together with Max. We got to put the stuff together and have our own conglomerate, which is in essence is cable, a cable bundle.
yeah.
So that's what I think they're doing. And then there's rumors Netflix is I saw this recently before we got on this pod. Netflix is bidding for NFL now. There's rumors that's going to get the 2 NFL Christmas games.
Hmm.
So Netflix is going hard in the paint as it should. They're winning comedy, they're winning sports, they're winning random ass TV shows about baby reindeer. So it's like, how are you going to compete against them? The only way you compete against them is to get bigger. And so Disney,
Is
Max,
it though?
everybody's getting better.
Is it about getting bigger? Because it seems they have enough franchises.
Who's that?
Disney with Hulu and Hulu now in the mix. It's what do you need from? Come on, they've got Marvel. Do you really need the DC franchise under your roof too?
I know, isn't that crazy? It's gonna be like a cable bundle that's gonna have DC and MCU. So that's gonna be interesting.
No, that's gonna be
Uh
garbage. That's F that. See, anytime you have two something that's supposed to be competing and you put them under the same roof, Def Jam had this problem with music, and they've never been able to figure it out with the music company. It's like when you have a music company and there are two competing labels like Cash Money and No Limit or Island Def Jam and Rap a Lot or whoever, Def Jam South. It's like when you have these two things under one roof, all of a sudden the competition just goes away. The music doesn't become as good. It stops being edgy. And it's because as you're trying to release this stuff, as you're trying to create, as you're trying to compete, the system is designed to maximize for the system, not the individuals in it. So the individuals stop pushing as hard, stop giving the overriding system that much headache, and then all of a sudden it's, "Oh, everything's cool. It's cool. Guys, it's cool."
spoken like a true capitalist. I love it.
And then
There's
it's
no
like, "Ugh."
competition, there's no growth. No, no competition, no growth. I get it. You gotta look at let's be honest, David Zaslav and the whole Discovery Time Warner folks over there, whatever. I forgot what they're called over there anyway. Warner Brothers, they're gonna be sold, let's be honest, in the next couple of years. And so I think he's just trying to find any play that's gonna
Yeah,
legitimize. He's got all his debt, he's got payoff. He's already, let's be honest, he's already licensed tons of DC. If you go to Netflix now, Aquaman there, you see all these other shows,
yeah.
Sex in the City, you see the I'm surprised The Wire is not on there on Netflix. So they've already licensed some of that to Amazon too. So it's like they're just trying to find ways to stay relevant until this thing is sold off to another player anyway. And this may be a test balloon to see if Disney, you know, it can stomach owning them. So maybe that thing I never thought about that. But what if Disney owns Marvel and DCU under the same banner? That could
I would
happen.
I would have me like I'm a big media executive. I would have cozied up to Amazon hardcore because I
Mhm.
think Amazon just has the vibe that says the reality TV slash shopping angle. To me, that's tight. That's good. That's like really good. And then the edgy stuff. with the DC Comics and the boys and all that, that just seems like an even better match there. So I'm sure this discussion came up somewhere, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I just think but then Amazon doesn't really have a lot of IP, right? And so the
That's what you
goal is
need.
to have gear up with IP, and Disney has the most IP, probably the most IP, right? Let's be honest, even more so than Netflix. And then Warner has a lot of IP. So let's just put all our IP stuff on the table and just go after Netflix and see what we can do. But that's intriguing. I'll be curious to see because right now, what's going on right now, Mr. Benja, Paramount is basically is gone. It's going to be sold eventually.
Yeah.
They can't sell to like Peacock, which is owned by NBC, because you can have CBS and NBC, unfortunately, in America come together. So they're gonna be sold by somebody else or sold to someone else. But that's gonna be interesting. I think there's a play here. Disney's trying to figure this out. Yeah. Anyway, this is cable, man. I mean, look, people don't realize there's a thing we had back in the day where you can watch all these channels at the same time, pay one monthly fee, and that's what we're going back to.
Does the money work out, do you think?
I don't know, Mr. Bitch. I don't even know what I didn't see what they were pricing this one on. I don't think there is. It's just rumors. But they already have that Disney. Maybe they're gonna have a sports bundle. We talked about that a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. They're gonna have a sports bundle. I think Discovery was in that too. Yeah, I think they were charging something like $50 or something like that for sports bundle. So this is just I think they're just I'll be honest with you, this is what it sounds like. It sounds like they're just throwing out stuff to see what
Mhm.
sticks. See
Okay.
if they put something out there, did the stock price go up or go down?
Right.
If the stock price went up, this may be something because
Okay.
it doesn't seem like there's thought brought into this.
I was about to ask if it was a starvation play or you can only get your food from me kind of situation where it's like, hey, we've got all these shows and you might as well buy us. Okay, I might as well get Disney Plus. And then you've got so many shows, so many things. And then over time, when everybody else dies out and there's Netflix and this, once you've gotten to that situation, it's okay. Now we start to put in our ad supported tier. Now we start to put in, hey, if you're going to get these shows, it's going to move into our little bundle over here and you have to pay a little extra to get this. You have to pay a little extra to get that. And it really starts to get into the cable bundling ideology. I'm just wondering if they're trying to either starve the people or starve these other companies of anything, of any other options before really turning the
Mhm.
screws and getting money out of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. So yeah, back in February, they announced a sports bundle between ESPN, Warner Brothers, and Fox. So that's already so like I said, it's like weird. What's the strategy here? You already have a sports bundle. You're gonna have this other separate bundle. You just bundled Hulu Plus, right? Or Hulu into what you're doing. And then they're talking about so it also says February, Disney revealed that its service had lost 1.3 million subscribers. Max lost 2.5 million subscribers. Yeah, it's I think it's just thought balloons out there because they know everyone knows Netflix is winning the game. And I think they had a phenomenal quarter. Obviously, we this the biggest and the amazing thing to me, they stay Netflix does stays in the public discourse. There's always some show that comes out of nowhere that just wins the and they don't even have their big show out yet, Stranger Things. So this is just blowing my mind. And the show could even be a show they just put Sex in the City on there. It's staying in the top 10. So it's just amazing to me how Netflix is staying. They figured it out, man, and they were already profitable and they just staying more profitable. So
Yeah. Disney could learn something or they won't. But now it's, yeah, even if they can't get you on all these bundles, they're going to get you with Fortnite and other properties like this because I don't know if you know the Fortnite video game that's becoming this meta game, this everything kind of game situation. Disney put 1.5 billion into them. We mentioned them a little while ago before, but they're already testing their massive Disney update. So what this means now is all these Fortnite nerds who've been running around with all their skins and all the purchases they've done, all the Fortnite concerts they've been going to with Ariana Grande, Travis Scott, suddenly their connection to stuff like Star Wars is going to get a lot bigger. It's not going to be these little one-offs. It's going to be like, hey, there may be a Star Wars land that
mm,
open up Fortnite and it's all your options. Boom, Star Wars land. There may be a whole thing that just does that. A Marvel land, or maybe there's some sort of connection between them that reminds people of the old Disney Infinite game that Disney fumbled the ball on. But This is big stuff. If you're moving into gaming and interactivity, smart move on Disney's part, business wise. Can they execute? Not so sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the notes here from the article you put out here. Yeah, Billie Eilish, I think she's joining for season 3. So, yeah, they never been successful with game systems, right, or game stories. I saw this article too, Mr. Benj. I can't remember the name, but Microsoft was selling off a lot of their game studios. So, just curious to see where Disney's think the game studio mechanics are gonna go. So, they have a lot of IP. Could
Yeah.
they invest more into that with their IP into these games? That's gonna be the interesting thing to see.
The interesting thing that's been happening with games is there's been less variety and more concentration in one or two games that can last you a decade.
Mm,
Game used to last 6 months and we'd all talk about it and have fun. And then we'd be talking about the next version that's going to come out. Now
mm.
with like GTA, it's taken over a decade to get to GTA 6. And in the
Wow.
meantime, people have been actively playing GTA 5. So that's a better model
Mhm,
where it's, if we can
mhm.
basically get them to replay the same game for all these years, let's do that instead. So that
Well,
makes
that's
sense.
what it's the IP game in the game system. Look up Fallout. We talked about Fallout. It's been around since the '90s, and it's we just had a TV show, and they're constantly putting new updates out there that people can play until the next version of Fallout comes out.
Yeah. And it's not and it's on top of that, it's not even all of the IP itself. It's the I don't know what you call this, the interactive property rights because you're so used to the way that Fortnite works or the way that GTA works or the way that certain game mechanics work. It's if I ask somebody who plays GTA all day to go play Fortnite, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, the controls work this way. I have to click here. Wait, what does this mean? I'm loading in. Why doesn't this work like GTA? It's a whole language that you have to train people on. And this is why Fortnite has been branching out like it does. That's why GTA has been branching out like it does because why leave a game and have to start basically from 0 in another game? It's like a movie or a TV show or whatever. It's,
Yep,
okay, so I'll sit down and watch another series. That's not
yep.
difficult to do since I'm just watching, but playing?
Ooh. Yeah, we should write down all the different game franchises there are out there, right? God of War, obviously Sonic, obviously Mario Bros. There's so many, but I guarantee that's probably accounting for what 90% of all the games that we're
It's
playing.
heavily skewed.
So it's like, where's the new stuff coming from, man? It's like these off indie brands, right? That maybe what sell maybe 10,000 copies and disappear. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very similar.
But yeah, Disney's also got issues with their streaming. We talked a little bit about the movies, and there's no big movie coming out except Deadpool and Wolverine from Disney. But Iger is actually announcing that he's stepping in the mix to come in there and mess up Feige's potato salad. Sprinkle some raisins in it or whatever he plans
No,
on doing
don't do that.
to
Don't
Feige's
do that.
potato salad.
Don't do that.
Uh,
That's gonna mess everything up, man. Look, man, this is my only take on this one is what is going on here. So we got Deadpool, Pool, and Wolverine coming out. We have X-Men 97 hot property, at least in my household. And in in Dr. Jackson's household. I don't know in
Dr.
Mr. Bench's
Chris.
household. Dr. Chris. But yeah, man, it's a hot property. So X-Men are hot, man. So it's but are they still going forward all this other crap that they're talking about, like Armor Wars, Deadpool, Daredevil, excuse me, Captain America? We'll talk about that in a second. What Agnes Harkness, continuation of WandaVision, Blade, Fantastic Four, which I think they have to do. But the tea leaves are saying maybe it's time. Do you need to get some wins? Yes, Deadpool, Wolverine, high probability of a win. But the rumor is it's gonna be the introduction of the X-Men in this. No, what does that mean? What's that next story? Should that next story be a continuation of Deadpool and Wolverine about X-Men? But it sounds like it's not. It's still gonna be this hodgepodge of different things. And I don't know that's a good strategy for MCU, who is down and out right now. That's just my take on it. Now the rumor is they're gonna reduce the number of output, maybe down to 2 stories and 3 movies a year. That's still quite a bit, Mr. Benja, when I don't know if that's the right move. What are your thoughts?
You don't have to home run everyone. Don't foul out. Don't accidentally fling the bat and knock out the first baseman and get put on TMZ. You know what I mean? Just don't just make your simple if you make the people are forgiving for a basic movie. It doesn't have to be great. It's, "Hey, did you see this movie?" "No, I didn't see it. I heard it was pretty good, though. I heard it was decent." If you can do that, I think you're fine. But if you start doing stuff like proclaiming, "Dude, the Marvels is gonna be great," and this and that, and then people are like, "Why is there a musical number in this? And why did you tell me that this was gonna" Wait, do you mean I have to go watch the Marvels TV show? We went over that, how it was almost set up to fail, even though it was
Oh, but look, Mr. Benja, a hot take, man. They trained us to be expecting everything to to relate and make sense.
Mhm.
Everything. And so when you don't continue that and you're just canceling that,
Yeah,
then now we were still gonna feel like we have to watch Harkness to see how it connects to the X-Men.
exactly.
And so to that and that's to my point is then why even do these shows if they're gonna have some tangential look at Miss Marvel. They oh, we're X-Men now. Forget the Targaryen Misk and the Inhumans. It's like now oh, everything is related to X-Men. And this is the bed that they made. So,
Yeah,
yes, they're gonna create all these other shows, but it's like, what's we're gonna ask, how does it relate to X-Men? If you don't relate to X-Men,
exactly.
I'm not watching it.
So if so X-Men could come out and stand on its own, and just if they wanted to do that. If they wanted to just say X-Men comes out and stand on its own, they could have done that. But then they already threw the Marvels into that. They connected that in the end scene of the last one. So it's, now you can't do that anymore. If you just pulled a random character and said, "This is gonna exist by itself," there's a case that it could be, "Oh, a breath of fresh air coming out of Marvel." But they seem stuck in between, like you said, this rock and this hard place where it's gotta connect to something. Okay, if it connects, are we gonna go all the way? Not really. It's so now
But then that's dipping into the quality. Then now we're like, why didn't watch this in the first place? It's just like TV for TV's
right,
sake.
right.
So it's that was the exciting part of watching it. It was like, oh, this all could be connected. And they tried to do it, but just didn't work out. So I would just say scrap all this 2, 3, just say, you know what? We're just gonna release stuff, maybe one movie, maybe one TV show a year, and it's gonna be good. And that's all you have to say. And then
Yeah,
we get
okay.
back to the quality.
Yeah, if you can do that, like, drop down to
Quantity,
one
excuse me.
movie and really at not even knock it out the park, but make a triple. Not even a
Yes.
double, make a triple or a double. Not have to do a home run. Be like, "Okay, I wasn't mad. That was good."
Yeah. They have wait, and I know we want to talk, but I just want to reiterate this. They have to the momentum is dead right now. They have to get the momentum going again. And if they just released the X-Men, everybody's excited about it. And the next thing is Agnes Harkness and her covenant of witches. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Do you think Fantastic Four is gonna heavily connect?
I don't know, Mr. Benji. That would they're the first family, first thing they put out there. Has Fantastic Four ever really resonated at a high level? That's the thing. And
Yeah.
so, and someone made a good point, and I'll let you go on this on another podcast. Shout out to the Midnight Boys at the Ringer. Pew pew. They had said that 2025 is going to be a big year. The classic superhero, Superman, will be released by DCU and Fantastic Four. If both of those fail, that's probably the death knell for superhero movies as we know it. So that's just a hot take.
Yeah, you gotta come correct with these last couple. As you mentioned, they have the ability to do all of the options that we said with these remaining, well, at least Blade, Fantastic Four, and X-Men. They could go either way with any of the strategies that we've mentioned. I'm just wondering what they're gonna do. And I guess the last thing is they're already about to take another interesting step with Captain America, Black Falcon, Winter, ex-soldier on your left sidekick. Just the new Captain America movie title. I think that's one of their titles. Anyway,
Yeah, it is.
real quick news, they're releasing this with this character Sabra or Sabra. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. She's the controversial Israeli version of Captain America. When they started this story, I'm sure they didn't expect a war to start up with Israel and Hamas. But it's happened, and now people are wondering, wait a minute, this character that's supposed to be controversial is about to be part of this story, could ruin the entire film release. Really quick, any thoughts on that?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know if that's a smart move, but it sounds like this Captain America, Winter Soldier, Falcon on the left side. Sounds like this movie is done. So they can't change it now because of this conflict.
Hey, they've
But,
got AI and in editing rooms. I don't know what they can do. Really quick, and here's what Newsweek said about Sabra. In her first appearance, Sabra attacks the Hulk, whom she believes is assisting an Arabic militant group. When a Palestinian boy is caught up in the battle between Sabra, the Hulk, and the terrorist and dies, the Hulk declares, "Boy died because boy's people and yours both want to own land. Boy dies because you wouldn't share." That's if you've got the Hulk saying that in a major movie or something like that, even hinting at that, you got problems. So I don't know.
I'm looking at the
That's
character design. She got the Star of David right there on the chest, man. So there's no and on the forehead. So there's no denying what she's about.
yeah.
You could just man, they'll probably tone that down a little bit and just say she's from Israel and that's it.
Man, it's touchy now because you're gonna get there are gonna be protests all in these theaters any way she comes across. I guarantee you. TMZ, where you at? That's all I gotta say.
No, you don't. You got something else to say, man. What you
No,
got on your rant
I'm
this year,
I'm
man?
I'm a
Come
I'm a
on.
I'm a hold off on that. I'm a hold off on this because I'm not in the right mood.
Gotcha. He ain't in the right mood. So no rants today, this week, guys. But that's okay, Mr. Benja. So look, we're at the end of time, guys. But look, it's always fun as always. We've enjoyed it with you guys. So look, check us out. Please like, subscribe, comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go visit us on our website, Show versus Business. Hey, if you want to know what we're doing with this podcast, go check that out as well and sign up for our email list. But Mr. Benja, I want you to have a great week.
Hey, you too, my friend. Peace.